Okay, this series now is talking about the maintenance and the tools on the machine. And that it takes in the consumables and all that stuff. So here we go. First thing we talk about is the air filter. This is the air filter for the chassis. This is where the air all goes inside the machine. And you're going to have to clean this periodically. And so, to get it off, we lift it up and pull it off from the top. And this is what you wash. About every 6 months you should take a look at this and rinse it off and put it back in here and back inside. And now to put it back on in place, we set it here and press it in, and there it is. So this is only to get large particles that could get inside the machine. Okay? This is called the air filter. On the back of the machine is the fuse box. When this is in, we can't take this out, okay? So when this is plugged in here, you can't open this door. So we unplug it, and the only reason you have to mess with this is if you turn the machine on and it doesn't come on. So then we have to look at the fuse. This is the fuse block. If this is a 220 machine, there'd be a fuse here and a fuse here. But this fuse is for a 110 machine. So this is blocked off, and we only have one fuse. The way you can tell which machine it is, this is 115 volts. If we was going to put it in as a 220, we'd turn this up and we'd have a fuse here and here. And it would be a 230 machine. Okay? So right now it's a 115. The fuse is good. We press it back in, and it should snap in. There we go. And we close the door. There we are. So that's the fuse. Little screwdriver is how we get in there. Now we'll plug this in so we don't have to mess with it. There we go. Plugged in. All right, the next thing where we're going to look at is going to be the first place where we're going to have an actual pressure. This is the secondary filter. This is the first place where we're going to actually feel a pressure in the machine. It's right inside of this filter. This filter you'll have to change every 300 to 350 treatments. Not very often. To change this filter, we take the cap off. You will have a rubber glove on your hand to protect you from this filter. This filter will have a fuzzy outside. It'll be dark colored, dark gray or dark brown. And the fuzz that's going to be on this filter is going to be the accumulation of all of the debris that came off of your clients that went through this filter. The primary waste filter filters everything down to 5 microns. 5 microns down to a half a micron will be caught on this filter. This whole outside of this filter will be fuzzy, and it's a biohazard.
Now, can we wash this filter?
This filter is not washable. This is a cellulose filter. The insides of this filter get completely plugged up, and there's no way to clean it. This is a disposable filter. Okay? The same filter is right here on the other side. This is the primary air filter. It's identically the same filter, has exactly the same filter element. Again, it's disposable. I can tell you when this filter gets dirty. This filter, I cannot tell you when it gets dirty. So therefore, change them both at the same time. We sell them in a package of 2. Every 300 to 350 treatments, you're going to change those 2 filters. Okay? To put this all back together, you take the new filter, put it up in the hole, and press it in. This cap is exactly the right size to where this bowl comes right against the bottom of this filter as you screw it on. So you'll take this bowl, wipe it out, and then put it on It's bullnose fitting, so you can't get it crooked. And then you snug it down tight. There we go.
I noticed it also had an O-ring in it.
Rubber O-ring is inside. Make sure you don't lose it. If you lose that O-ring, you will not have a seal. Okay? Here we go. Now we'll turn on the machine. The next thing, let's turn on the machine and make sure we have a good pressure. All right. If the pressure's perfect, we'll have over a 20 to a 22. We've got 21. Okay?
And in order to check that, you just put your finger over that handset tip?
Yep. We set this on aspiration, this on crystal, just like back in the beginning. And then we include the handset, and that'll give us full pressure. Now let me show you what happens when I loosen this filter cap. Okay? Okay, now it's not tight like it should be. And you'll notice it doesn't take much to tighten it. Okay, it's leaking. 19. Just snug it up. And now it'll go right on up. Okay? So if you put this thing together and you do this primary vacuum, that's what this is called, primary vacuum, and you don't get what you need, tighten this up a little bit. Okay? Okay, so we're back to a solid machine. Now, the next thing we're going to do is change this waste filter. This waste filter is a consumable, just like the secondary filters are. And this waste filter will need to be changed every 22 to 24 treatments. That's how many treatments this holds, depending upon the size of the person that you're working on, naturally. So when you put this waste canister on, it has a big O-ring. This is what this is, soft neoprene rubber. And so this soft neoprene rubber connects right into a ring that's milled right into the bottom of this block. And it screws right on this collar, this stainless steel collar. So we just put it up on this and start turning it. And we tighten it finger tight. And I'll show you how tight that has to be. I'll turn this machine back on, and I'll include this, and we have nothing. And now I'll tighten this up until there it goes. And it's going up to 21, and that's all the tighter it really needs to be. Let me show you how tight that really is. Okay, so you don't have to crank this down. Just snug, tight enough. Okay, here we go. The next place we look for pressure, we put this over to crystal, and we look at our airflow. It should be a 4 if everything on this side of the machine is clean, and it is clean in both crystal and aspiration mode. In crystal mode, we'll have less pressure. Okay, here we are in crystal mode, and we've got a 4. If we go to aspiration, we'll have less pressure because there's no crystal flowing. Oop. Oh, excuse me. Here's aspiration. There's no crystal in the airstream. So when we go back to crystal, we have a higher number because there's crystal in the airstream. Crystal is not compressible. Okay? When we do this test in crystal mode, crystal on the mode valve and crystal on the mode switch, this tells us how much air is flowing through the accelerator. This is the accelerator. This little item right here. These are evacuation ports. This is the accelerator. This is where the crystal is going to come out and hit whoever's skin is in the window. This is the application window. So we'll put this on. I'll put my finger there.
Oh, that's what occlude means.
That's what occlude means. Occlude the window with your finger. And you can see what it did to my finger. It took the skin off. The skin is gone. So that's abrasion.
So the crystals were flowing. It's in both the...
You can look right down here in the waste canister.
I see the crystals jumping around.
Okay, that's caused because of the aeration pipe. Every time I occlude this, air is flowing through here into an antiviral system in here, coming down the aeration pipe and keeping the crystal in the jar stirred up. Okay? The air in the jar comes up through the crystals from the aeration pipe to the top, comes into the jar and goes down through the Venturi pipe. And let me take this off so you can actually see where the Venturi pipe is. This is the Venturi pipe, this crooked pipe. It's a U shape and it creates a Venturi pressure. Now I'll show you what that does. The Venturi pressure is what actually picks the crystal up. Okay, I'm occluding the handset. Did it stay there? No. Okay. So the little piece of paper is stuck right on the hole. Now watch what happens when I take my thumb off of this.
Oh, I saw it. It dropped off. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what's sucking the crystals out of the jar.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Consumables. These are consumables. The waste canisters are consumables. And these are consumables. These three are the most consumable of the consumables that we have. These three will be used every day
To do a treatment.
to do treatments.
This is
every
my
day.
consumable cost to do a treatment.
That's right. Okay. Other consumables are the filters that we only change every 350 treatments.
The secondary and primary.
The accelerator, which we only change every 300 treatments.
And how do we change that accelerator?
Accelerator.
It's so small.
Here's how we change the accelerator. The accelerator is right here, located right here in the nozzle. To get it out of there, we put the slip joint pliers on, loosen it, and then unscrew it with our finger. And there it is. That is what makes the machine work. That little element right there, without it in the handset, the machine will not do an abrasion correctly. This not only speeds the crystals up 9 times from the speed it is in the hose, but it also forms the beam to where the beam will be exactly in that window, or in that window, or in that window. That's what this little thing does. It forms the beam to do the abrasion. Okay? So this thing will wear out. This is as hard as you can make metal. It will wear out because the aluminum oxide is the second hardest mineral there is, right next to diamonds. It's really a white sapphire. Okay? This accelerator and this Venturi pipe are designed for 100 micron dust-free crystals. If you get crystals into this machine that are 150 microns, you'll find out that they don't feed correctly and they won't do a good abrasion. If you put crystals in this machine that are 60 microns, same story. They're too small and too light. So this machine is made to use 100 micron dust-free crystals. Okay, so when you put this back in, you want to make sure you can screw it all the way in with your fingers. If it doesn't go, back it up and do it again. And wiggle it back and forth like this. And you'll slowly get it to where the shoulder of the accelerator hits the body of the nozzle. And whenever that closes, like that, then it's ready to snug. You grab the pliers and you snug it up. Now it's done and it's ready to be put back together. Okay?
Now I see you putting that application cap back on.
Application cap.
And how does the application cap, you just sort of screw it on or push it on? Or?
It's actually held on here by an O-ring. This little O-ring, little black O-ring. When you put it on, you want to make sure that you push it and twist it so that it fits against the shoulder. If it's like that, it's raised up a little, that will cause the beam to be off center and you'll get a crooked abrasion.
So you want to push the handset cap all the way down to the
push
shoulder.
it on and turn it, and then it'll be shoulder tight.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Again, the primary filter, I have no way to tell you when it's dirty. When you change the secondary, always change the primary. Okay? All right. Let me put the crystal jar back on. The tools. This tool was for getting into the fuse. This tool that you can't lose because this pin is hooked to this ball. This ball, its only purpose is if you ever have to trace and find out where you're losing vacuum, this ball will fit every fitting on this whole machine. So you can always put the ball into a hole, whether it's in here or in here or where or in here.
So in other words, it'll occlude any hole that's in the machine.
Exactly.
It's the right size.
It's the right size. The reason I've got this pin in the ball is so you can't lose the ball or the pin. If you drop it on the floor, it don't roll very far because the pin won't let it. And you can't lose the pin because the ball is too big.
And what do we use the pin for?
The pin. When the accelerator is big enough for this pin to slide right down in it, the accelerator is no longer efficient and it's time to change it.
Now, how far should it go in the hole?
It'll go in there about clear down to here. It'll go in there at least an inch.
Okay, so if it goes into the hole,
You'll know it.
It's time to change your accelerator.
That's right.
Okay.
When it goes, this is 81 thousandths.
Okay.
This is 52 thousandths. So
Okay.
that's the amount of wear you have.
Okay.
Okay? All right. The next tool that we have, we already know what the blue pliers are for almost anything on the machine that you can open those jaws up to grab. This is the next tool. This tool is strictly for the knob. Directly opposite the white arrow is the set screw for the knob. So we put this in the hole.
And why would it be necessary to do this?
If this knob gets loose, it'll fall off.
I see.
Now, we have this knob put on here with Loctite, so it shouldn't come off. But if it does come off and this is not flat, suppose it comes off when it's like that.
Okay.
All you need to do is grab it with the pliers and orient it so it points that way. and then slide the knob back on and push it clear down, and then tighten it. Okay, and once you tighten it, it'll stay right where it's supposed to be. That way this is always lined up to point where we want it to point. When you're on maximum, it's going to be pointing towards the correct place. There we go.
Okay, so the flat side of that little gold thing that sticks out?
Is at a low point.
Okay, and the flat side should face the left, face the waste canister.
Face to the left. Okay, and I can show you right here, real easy. I'm going to put it in aspiration, crystal. There we go. And watch, we go just past maximum, and it'll go right to zero, right back to nothing. Okay? So as you come up from turning it clockwise, it'll slowly go up to maximum as we move the wiper. Okay?
I see.
And once we go past max, it'll go right back to zero again. Round and around. There is no stop in this valve. This is called a thimble valve, and I designed it and have the patents on it.
So the knob is tightly hooked to that treatment pressure gauge that's on the front of the machine.
Exactly.
And when I'm doing a treatment on someone, I should always look at the gauge. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Because
the position of the knob is not going to be accurate with the gauge, because the fuller the waste canister gets, the further you'll have to advance this to get the treatment pressure that you want.
Okay, but I don't just try to just keep turning it up and turning up the knob. I always look at where it is on the gauge.
Always look at the gauge. Suppose we want to do a treatment at a 4, okay? So we'll occlude the handset, adjust it to a 4, and now when we take our thumb off, this is a person's skin that we're working on. We take it off and it falls to 0.
Okay.
But as soon as we touch it again, it's right back to 4.
Okay.
So if you're working on the skin, it stays at the 4.
So the crystals can never shoot out of the handset unless it's occluded.
That's right. Until you occlude the handset with somebody's skin, nothing happens. No matter what you do, nothing can come out of this jar until we occlude the handset and suck air out of here. And the air that you're sucking out of here comes from here, from the primary filter, through an antiviral system, down the aeration pipe, into the venturi pipe, picks up crystals, brings it out, comes out of here, and abrasion.
And the treatment pressure gauge is actually saying what the pressure is on the patient.
Yes, right inside this cap. It tells you exactly what's on the person's skin.
Many machines, the pressure gauge is just telling you the pressure at the motor.
That's right. All the other machines that are built to tell you the pressure at the motor. Who cares what the pressure is at the motor? We want to know what the pressure is on a person's skin. We're working on somebody's skin. And so this machine is the only one in the whole industry that tells you the pressure on the person's skin. Okay? Okay. So we went through, and the only tools that we haven't talked about are the brushes. This brush here fits all of these hose fittings. Will you ever need to brush them? Not very often. In fact, just 3 weeks ago, after 12 years, I had a person that had a problem in the waste hose inside of here, and we had to do this back and forth 3 or 4 times to clear it. First time in 12 years.
Now how do I take those handset connectors off of the machine? Do I have to turn the machine off first?
No, not really. Okay.
So very easy. And when I travel with the machine, is it advisable to remove that handset?
Absolutely. If you're traveling with the machine, take the handset off, because you only have to drop it once and you'll break these. If you break these off, now you have to buy a whole new handset. So absolutely, if you're going to travel with the machine, always take this off, take this, roll it up, put it in your purse, put it somewhere in a bag, but don't leave it on the machine. Leaving it on the machine is asking to break your machine. Okay, so absolutely, always take your handset off the machine if you're going to transport it. When you put these on, there's a little detent right here. Watch what pops up. Okay, so this has to be preloaded or it won't go on there. Watch, I'll pop it up and now try to put it on. Cannot get it on, it won't fit because it's misaligned. So when we push it down, watch this silver aligned to the nylon. Now it's ready. When we put it on, listen and you'll hear the click. In fact, let me turn the motor off and you'll hear the click.
I heard it.
It's locked on. It can't come off until you push the button. When you push the button down, now off it comes.
29 minutes.
Very good. Okay. That pretty much tells us all about the tools, the consumables, and the maintenance. So the next series that we do will be troubleshooting problems.